JENOS is a new champion coming to the realm. He is a new support and has the title of the Ascended. The developers gave a little bit of his backstory and lore and said basically he was a mortal human. He went into the mountains and instead of looking for the answers with elves and other humans' knowledge, he looked to the stars and ascended to be a powerful being that could control the power of the stars through his own observations of the cosmos. Neil deGrasse Tyson would be very proud, I'm sure. Art-wise, looks, he has a very divine look to him with golds alongside cosmic blues, and he also has an astral orb in his hand which has 3 constellations which are available, which all tie into his abilities, but looks like a small ball with stars orbiting it whilst it's not in use. His hair is white, almost looks a bit like Setharos, but with a curl at the back. He's also got a golden mask, which does look a bit owl-like with the eye slits, and in his other hand wields a gun that has a set of stars and a ball, powering it with an astral gyroscope spinning around it. Another cool little feature there. It looks very elven actually, the shape of it. It's very rounded. It's almost like a crescent moon sort of shape. The other cool thing about JENOS is he floats off the ground and has this awesome emote where he pulls in cosmic power and it comes around him almost like a black hole forming around his body. Anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty of JENOS. His base HP is 2600 shown in the stream. They didn't specify completely, so it could be affected by cards and it could be lower than that. His in-hand weapon is a fast-firing, fully automatic gun that does 120 damage per shot, has 24 shots in the magazine, and there are also headshots which do 180 damage, which does put quite a lot of damage under his belt, especially for a support, and this is where they're pushing JENOS to. The sort of aggressive support that can heal. So ability 1, he heals over time for 10 seconds, and this is the Lotus constellation. What you do is you use this constellation to select allies, and above their heads they will have this Lotus, and you'll mark people with it to heal them. The cooldown is 8 seconds, so you can have 2 up at once, because you can have a heal over time for 10 seconds, probably also affected by cards, and it does not require line of sight and heals around 250 health per second. So you can even be behind a wall and put it on an ally. The amount isn't as powerful as Sarah's or Maldamba as a single heal, but can be constant and always on, so giving you a bit of flank potential as well. The next ability is Void Grip, and this has the Scorpion constellation. It lifts enemies up and doesn't allow them to move, but an enemy can use movement abilities to get out of it, but also whilst they're in this Void Grip, which is almost like a force lift or something, there's a dot, a damage over time, which ticks for 35 for each of the ticks. It'll be interesting trying to time this for when people have used their movement ability, but like Grover's Crippling Axes with his legendary card, this could be great at a team focusing, single target ability to take somebody down quickly. Developers also said that CC, crowd control, like knocking them back or hooking them out, will affect it, but obviously when you do that you'll be doing it as an enemy. The third ability is Stellar Wind, and this has the Hare constellation and is his movement or escape ability. It gives you a speed bonus, jump height increase, and lowers his gravity and basically his fall down speed. You can't use abilities whilst in this Stellar Wind, but you can toggle it on and off, so you can easily go between using the Stellar Wind and killing somebody, unlike Ceres or someone like that who has to go into their invis and is stuck in it until the end. You can see in the dev footage this is pretty great at jumping from one ledge to another, using height and going to other height, but the actual jump itself isn't too high, so it'll be harder to go up and have vertical movement from the ground floor, but if you're already on a high level you can basically just drift over to another high level. It's probably good at chasing people down that are retreating away from a tower or a platform and you're chasing after them, which looks pretty cool. And honestly, it looks like you're holding up a cloud or something above you and it's letting you float, but instead it's the little Hare constellation. Finally, the Big Bada Boom, the ultimate. What this does is it creates a laser that travels through all of the map in a line and has quite a large width. It goes through walls, apart from the spawn room walls as well, and again is through the whole map. It just doesn't stop. In the third person, the animation literally looks like a Kamehameha charged up in Dragon Ball Z. So if you want to fulfill that fantasy in Paladins, well, you've got your chance now. But most importantly here, the line has a visual effect as it is powering up, so the enemies will see across the map, they'll always see that line come into sight as it is charging up, so you have time to move away from it. But the biggest thing is it does 2,400 damage, who most of the cast in the game sit around that health, so they're going to die. Obviously some of the more tankier champions aren't going to die, the frontliners especially, but that's still pretty huge, and if people are damaged then it's going to take them out, and especially for the area it covers. I can see a Sarah's ultimate being thrown down, people being dragged in, and it being an instant wipe. But you'd have to be a little unlucky not to be forced into not moving away, if you see what I mean. you're likely to be able to move away with their movement ability or just run away from it yourself if you do actually see it. That's the downside of this ultimate. So that's what was revealed in the dev stream just now. So what role is Genos going to fill? He's intended to heal and forget whilst going out and shooting, so he's quite an aggressive champion. He will likely work well with an aggressive team, applying constant heals from across the map no matter where he is, and being able to bridge the gaps to get close to enemies and chase them down, maybe filling up a bit of the flank role, whilst also having a pretty admirable burst damage and somewhat filling the space Ying almost sits at the moment, being an aggressive healer. The only downside I guess is Genos really wants to be in people's faces, so he won't likely want to be on the point very long, so he might be complementing another support of some kind. And maybe some frontliners that do want to sit on the point, like a Barrack that sets up house right on that siege point. Another big thing with Genos and part of the role as a support is his Void Grip. He's going to be great at picking out targets to burst them down, a little like Grover's Cripple energy, so basically singling somebody out, hoping they've already used the movement ability and picking them up. Even if they haven't used their movement ability, it's probably going to stick them in place for a little while anyway until they actually hit it and react. So it gives chance for your allies to burst down and focus on an enemy. So he's got quite a lot of things going for him. So in that vein, will Genos be good? I think Genos will definitely be played. He's probably going to be insta-picked this lineup, and as a support, it's good that they've brought something that can damage and heal a bit like Ying can, to get more people to play the support role, as it's something that often people do not want to play. As always, I'll be playing Genos soon as the PTS goes up, and we will have some more impressions and opinions, but I do think he might just be able to take the spot of Grok as an aggressive support, as he's got the good bits of a lot of the supports. He hasn't got huge heals, but they're constant, a lot like Ying's, and his maneuverability is strong to boot. His ultimate 2 gives the enemy team warning, but combine it with the crowd control, could be a team wiping ultimate. But at the very least, and this is bottom line, like Sarah's Convergent or Sky's Time Bomb big ultimates, it can clear the point and disrupt the enemy team, and Genos can do this behind a wall completely safe. Personally, I think he's in for things of cosmic proportions. Anyway, that was Genos, the new champion. The developer preview was pretty short and light on details this time, so some things may be affected by cards, and I'll be sure to make a more in-depth video very soon. Plus, I can't wait to Kamehameha in the realm. What does everybody else think? Will you be playing Genos? Do you think his ultimate is too OP? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content and some more Genos, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. Joshino.